Hello, hello. Today is August the 6th, 2021. It's time for our bi-weekly meeting with Norm Winski. He's got some very important stuff for us today, and Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm excited to share my information. I think you'll see that we have some really fantastic stuff today. So, what I'm going to start out with is I was on your show on Friday, July 23rd, and made some forecasts about specific events. I do it based on the planets on astrology and it gave specific dates and what those events were connected to which markets, specific markets. So we're going to start off with the first thing I gave you 2 weeks ago. Keep in mind, all this stuff is objective scientific information that you can go look up on the internet. I have no control over any of this. I just have lots of experience working with this, and it usually works very well, as you will see. So, Mercury, my experience is Mercury is connected to the grains, corn, soybeans, wheat. And another factor with the grains is also the moon, and the moon also affects several other groups. So there we go. We have AC. Notice AC there. That means after the close. So really, these things occurred over the weekend. If it says the 723 AC, that's over the weekend. And then we had the full moon. That was sort of round up the usual suspects. Anytime we have a full moon or new moon, and this time we had a full moon, and it was going to round up your financials, grains, precious metals, and because it was an Aquarius, that's connected to copper. Then on the night of the 27th, then we had the Jupiter was due to the relative motion of the Earth appears right now that it's going backwards due to relative motion, and it backed out of the sign of Pisces and went back into Aquarius, and therefore we'll be looking at the planets harmonically associated with that event, changing signs are cocoa, copper, hogs, oil, silver, soybeans, and T-bonds. Then we're going to look at the night of the 29th. We had a singular event there with geocentric point of view of the Earth. Mars will enter Virgo, and that's soybeans. So now let's look at the charts and see how it all came out. There's our Mercury-Mars 723 weekend window there, and we'll be looking to get in the market. If we have any kind of trend, we're looking for the market to get some extreme. If we go sideways, we do nothing. And if it's going down, we're looking to buy. If it's going up, we're looking to sell. And here we have corn was dropped into that weekend. We'll be looking to get in on the opening. There's that bar there. And you can see if you bought the corn there, maybe worst case during the day, it went a few pennies against you. And then you had a bit of a rally and you could have made some money. Okay, here's soybeans. Same thing with the beans. They dropped into that weekend. Then they rallied. And then we were looking for a top a few days later. The night of the 27th, that was a little early, but it was still within my rules. We have to be right within one trading day, and that was within one trading day. That higher basically had a almost exact double top there. So I'm going to maybe bend the rules just a tiny bit and call that a high there. And then we had an exact top there with our bars in the Virgo, the night of the 29th, the morning of the 30th, and that was a beautiful top right there. There, the wheat dropped right into our Moon Mercury window into the 23rd weekend. And then if you bought there, it was no worries, mate. As they say, Australia, up, up, and away. That was beautiful. And here's cocoa. We were looking for the night of the 27th. We were one day ahead of that top there on the next day. We were looking to get in that morning on the opening of 28th. The next day, it topped out and had a big drop a few days later. Here's the hogs. We're on the same window as the cocoa, and they topped the day before, and then they had a nice drop. You would have sold it right on the opening there. Okay, here's crude oil going sideways. There's the yellow bar for we don't do sideways. It's Newton's law for every action. There's opposite equal reaction, and the opposite sideways is just more sideways. Hard to make money going sideways. Here's copper. We were looking for the copper was the 27th night there, and we were a day early. Well, actually, this was a day before that top, but because the copper moved so much from the opening, I had to count that as a miss. But it was within the time frame but I also I insist that it has to be within a reasonable amount of price. And that was like 20 cents. And every penny in copper is worth $250. That's like a $5,000 move just on that one bar. So that's way too much risk. However, over here, within 1 day of that top there, that was one of our, within our window, we were pretty close to the top there. And so you had a nice trade there. And then the copper dropped for like a week, There we go. And here's silver making a high on the moon and then making a low on our Jupiter point there. And that was both good. And then gold was going sideways, so we do nothing. Here's the S&P. We had three windows, 4 points, I think, for the S&P. We had the moon, Mercury there. We made a little top and you had a sharp drop the next day. Then we went sideways and then we had a pull back into our next window over the 29th after the close into the morning of the 30th, and then you had like a 1 day rally there. So here's T-bonds going sideways, so we did nothing. Here's the dollar. Dollar rallied into the moon and then down. Then the Aussie dollar went sideways. We do nothing. British pound was kind of going sideways there. That was kind of a confusing pattern. When in doubt, stay out, do nothing. Here's a very clear pattern of sideways, so we do nothing on the Canadian dollar. However, the euro, which is the most traded foreign currency there is, that was in a nice decline right there, and there's the low right there, right near the moon, and we came in on Monday, opening, and the 26th, and you could have bought there very close to the low, and had a very, very minuscule risk there. And then it was up, and away. Here's your yen, and that's even better. Look at that. It's almost a exact double bottom, buying on the Monday's opening right after the moon. And look at that sharp rally. That was fantastic. Here's Swiss franc, had a pullback right into the moon, and then up, and away. So here's the score. Add up the green arrows and red arrows. We had 20 winners. 1 red arrow was 1 miss. Out of 21, that's 95.24%. Now, we've got something special I'm going to show you here. I ran into this method way back in the early 70s when I was first studying this stuff in college. I ran across a book called Donald Bradley's Stock Market Prediction, which showed you how to correlate the stock market with the planets. And in the back of the book, you can Google it. It's kind of well known. It's the Bradley Index. I took that concept and I sort of rebuilt it the way I thought would be a better way. And I made lots of improvements on it over the years. And so that's what this blue line is. You see, here's the dates for July. It started on Tuesday the 6th, all the way till the 30th. There's your days. And I drew this blue line in advance. I published this in my monthly letter, which went out on Monday night the 5th. And so everybody had this blue line in advance. And then as we go, I overlay the S&P 10-minute bars on top of there, and you can see the correlation there between the S&P and the blue line, which I drew in advance. And one of the things I often talk to you about on Jeff's show here is about there's the new moon 1 day before a top, there's the full moon 1 day ahead of a top, and here's Mercury at 0 north latitude. Mercury planets at 0 latitude is another thing I've talked about as one of my top things, and that forecasted the low of the month. So there you go. And now let's talk about what's going to happen this weekend. This is the 6th. I have AC, so that means after the close. Over the weekend, we have geocentric Jupiter going to line up with Neptune. So we'll be looking at copper and oil. Then we have a new moon in Leo also. And so that will be your financials, grains, precious metals. And because it's in Leo, it has to do with the corn and gold. And then we have something the night of the 13th. That'll be, let's see, when's that? Oh, that's next weekend. That'll be to the U.S. natal chart. Natal chart is we take a snapshot of the planets when something began. And that was where this is based on when the country was founded on July the 4th, 1776. We have U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. And then we have something the night of the 16th, which will be again to the U.S. natal chart. So again, we'll be looking at U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. Here we're going to take a look at the S&P one more time before I go. Here we had this chart was as of Thursday night. I did these charts last night, and so I didn't know what was going to happen today. But here's the numbers I had as of last night. Okay, so let's go back here to this big dip. We had a 160-point drop from the high on the 14th to the low on the 19th. And we're going to do a little Fibonacci calculation here now. That was 43.94. You subtract that from the low. I mean, the other way around, you subtract the low from that high, you get 161. And you multiply that times different Fibonacci harmonics, 1.236. Get you add that difference, and you get 44.32. Guess what the high has been for the past week or so? It's been 44.30. So that stopped the market for a little while. We went through there today, so now we know that on the close. And so our next harmonic, well, the ideal, if everything were perfect, which it seldom is, but on Monday, if we had a big opening to the upside, we'd be looking for 44.54 as the perfect area for a top, because I'll be looking for a top because we had a nice rally into the weekend here on a new moon. And I think we had one other point here. Yep, we had 2 points. We had the Jupiter to Neptune. By the way, I forgot to mention stocks respond to everything. So I don't even mention, sometimes I don't even bother mentioning them. So anyways, that's what we'd be looking for. And should we get past 44.54 in the future, your next big level would be on this Fibonacci series would be 44.93. So here's how to get a hold of me. I have about 50 years market experience. I'm a former Chicago floor trader. I've been doing this my entire adult life. And so looking forward to helping some of your folks, Jeff. Here's how to get a hold of me. I'm in beautiful Naples, Florida at 239-594-3939. And Winski at embark with a Q there, mail.com. You can just call me on Skype anywhere in the world, in Winski_1. And looking forward to helping some of your folks there, Jeff.
95% has to be one of the most fantastic months I've seen anyone do anywhere.
Well, thank you very much.
All I can say
I've
is,
only done that in my recollection. I think this is only like the second time I've been anywhere near that area, that level.
Well, that's enough for anybody to happen once in his life. Congratulations. Yeah. That's great stuff. And Norm, we'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Everybody have a great weekend.
Okay, bye-bye.